All right, folks, looks like we're live. Let me just double check, make sure this is going live, and hopefully we don't have technical issues like we did last night. Google Hangouts just isn't what it used to be, that's for sure. Okay, sounded okay. Go ahead and mute that. All righty. So, a few things I wanted to talk about tonight. I wanted to give some more thoughts on the Daddy 05 situation. Now, I mentioned this last night, and some of you hadn't even heard about it, and I would invite any of you to check out Mr. Matoker's video on it. It's the latest episode of Hugbox Tumblr, or Hugbox Chronicles. Not sure what number, but it's Just a Prank Bro is the subtitle. And Philip DeFranco did some good covering of it. Boogie did some good covering of it. There's a lot of good videos out there on the subject. In short, a couple of shitheads were making some, they now say entirely fake, but originally they said not fake, but they probably were somewhere in the middle. Just kind of family videos, including a lot of pranks, and on the surface, whatever. But the real allegations are, it doesn't seem like they treat the kids particularly good, especially what I think is the youngest, Cody. He is treated a few notches above the way Meg is treated on Family Guy. And it's ugly. There's physical abuse, but far worse, there's emotional abuse in there. I mean, a kid gets hit, big deal. Sometimes a kid needs to be hit. Let's be honest. I'm not talking, really hurting a kid, but sometimes a kid needs a smack in the back of the head or something. I mean, but that's not what this was. This was, well, anyways, the family finally did an apology video, and like they put all their other videos to private, and they did this apology video, and they talked about, look, and the way they portrayed it is, we started this YouTube channel, and to keep up with, being popular and all, we've had to go more and more extreme. And we ended up doing stuff with the kids that we shouldn't have, putting up a lot of videos we shouldn't have, embarrassing it, okay, fine. That's understandable. Not right, but I guess it would be understandable. You start a YouTube video with your family, and it's bringing in a lot of money, and you want to give kids your nice things, and you're certainly enjoying the money yourself. It's the great tragedy of child actors, really. Things could start off with the absolute best of intentions, and they just spiral out of hand, and there's no one to advocate for the needs of the child, and the parents have lost sight of it. They're just blinded by it all. I'm not saying it's right, but it's understandable. But here is where I find the absolute unforgivable shit in those videos. Again, the way Cody is treated emotionally is heinous, and it can't be excused with just being caught up into e-fame. It's something deeper. It's, this kid is not truly treated like a member of the family. And one word, Matoker in his video, Jim in his video, he does a montage, and he says, see what you catch on this. And then he points it out after the montage, and I immediately noticed it too as I was listening to it. There's a video where Cody is upset about something, and I guess they were downstairs. The family's downstairs decorating the tree or something. The dad is up there trying to deal with Cody, and he says something like, I should be downstairs with my family right now. Instead, I got to deal with you. Not we should be downstairs with the family. Not I should be downstairs with the rest of my family. No, I should be downstairs with my family. A thing I am verbally indicating is a separate thing from you. So the apology covers a lot of it, in my opinion. I mean, obviously there's amends to be made and all, but okay, you got caught up in the e-fame, things got out of hand. All right. That explains a lot of this. It doesn't explain the worst part I saw, though. It doesn't explain that at all. And that's why I still think that Child Protective Services needs to be up these parents' ass something fierce. Somebody says, I've been through emotional abuse before. Those videos literally triggered me. Literally. I felt a touch of that in my childhood. Nothing to that extent, but I can understand. I can empathize with Cody a great deal. And it's troubling. It's troubling. Yeah. But like I said, the apology, it covers, and I when I say covers, I don't mean excuses, but it I should say addresses, let's say 90% of what was wrong with those videos. But that last 10% of just pure poison directed at that littlest one, it doesn't address that. You know, though the video where Cody, you know, the dad pushes Cody into the bookshelf. Okay, well, you know, family horsing around, accidents happen. I don't really, I think it's a bit more than that, but whatever. You could excuse it that way. You know. But the heinous way that kid is treated emotionally, I don't know how else to put it. It's truly it's Meg from Family Guy. Only, you know, that's just a goofy cartoon and we're all meant to laugh at it. This is an actual human being. All right. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that because there's not a lot that I hadn't said yesterday, but I did want to address that because a lot of the apology thing is the only thing that's up right now. And like I said, if this were just parents that let E-Fame get to their heads and maybe they just weren't thinking straight, that'd be one thing, but it does not address what I saw going towards Cody and what people have documented there. All right. So the other thing I want to talk about is the little bit of scandal Sean Hannity's got going on right now. As many of you know, Bill O'Reilly got chased out of Fox for the latest sexual harassment scandal. Now, the more I look into this last one, the more I'm thinking it's about, at most, a 50-50 shot he really did this one. Now, Bill's had a history of this shit, so, you know, this last one might not have been true, but they certainly all weren't not true. I don't think anything of value is lost with Bill O'Reilly at all. Fuck Bill O'Reilly. I said this last time, but to hell with him. I was never impressed with him. And Sean Hannity, on the other hand, while 10 years ago I would have been like, fuck Sean Hannity, he seems to have crawled a little bit out of his neocon bullshit. He's grown a little bit more libertarian / nationalist. He's not the neocon he once was. Now, whether or not that is a genuine growth of him as a man, or he has just observed where his audience was going and decided to, you know, to stay on which side of the bread is buttered, I can't say. Point is, all in all, I'm more or less okay with Sean Hannity these days. I think he's a net benefit to the world. And it'd be a shame to see him get run off Fox, and it'd be a shame to see him get run off the air. Now, he seems like he's fighting it. And from what I've heard, this is all bullshit. But I will say something else. Sean, for the longest time, hasn't been treated quite right at Fox anyways. He was one of their biggest draws. And what happened to him a couple years ago? They bumped him from the 9 o'clock slot to the 10 o'clock slot. Why? Well, so they could make room for Megan with a Y. How well did that work out for you, Fox? She ran off thinking she could find something better, which didn't work out for her either. But I got to say this right here. Like, if Sean gets run off the air and run off, he's fine. He's a wealthy man. He doesn't need to work another day in his life. He doesn't need to leave his house for the rest of his natural life. He's fine. He's set. Good for him. If I had been him back when they bumped him to 10, I would have said, all right, look, motherfuckers, there is no way I am going to have you bump me back to 10 so that you can put this stupid vapid gash on there so that she can ramble on while all the Viagra Republicans pull their pud to her. Ain't gonna fucking happen. I'd have either said, no, you put her at 10, or I'd have walked away from the network just right then and there. You know? So, I mean, look, there's people in charge of Fox right now that are trying to move it left, trying to move it more globalist, trying to move it more solidly neocon, as it were. And while O'Reilly was always a neocon, for whatever reason, he got on board with Trump reasonably early on, and the powers that be probably never liked that. So part of this was definitely about that. Now with O'Reilly, I think part of it was, as I said before, no matter how good you are at your job, when your boss keeps having to clean up a mess because you keep making the same fucking mistake over and over again, you're going to tend to piss them off, especially when it's a very, very avoidable mistake. For God's sakes, Bill, just stop pulling your dick out. So that was part of it there, Alrighty. A couple other things I want to talk about. Real quick, let's do an ad break, shall we? Before I forget it. Because I've actually got an ad for some of the weekday shows here. So the ad is for Reconnaissance Man by Aaron Clary. If you don't know what to study in college, then don't go. And if you don't know what to do in life, then don't go. In both instances, you'll waste precious time and money you don't have, and it pays instead to take an inventory of who you are, what you want, and where you belong in this world. So check out the book Reconnaissance Man, which is going to help you do just that, folks. Link down below to the Amazon listing. Quite a few reviews. And let's see. Looks like we got almost entirely 5-star reviews. So, damn good ratings from people who bought it. So do check that out. All right. And also, if you enjoy the programs, tip jar down below. That's all greatly appreciated, folks. Tips of any size, greatly appreciated. All right, next thing I want to talk about is Bill Nye the Faggot Guy. I have not seen this. Apparently, Bill Nye, I don't know if this was a special or the pilot of an ongoing show or whatever. I have not seen it yet. I've only seen the clips everyone's throwing up on YouTube. But Bill Nye's got himself a nice little science show on the Netflix. All righty. Are we all going to learn some science there? And, if you're my age, or even perhaps a touch younger, see, I'm old enough to remember Mr. Wizard, who was superior to Bill Nye in every way. But then later in my childhood years, there was Bill Nye, and it was a nice show, infotainment, taught kids some basic science lessons. That's all well and good. But holy shit, has Bill Nye become a fucking hack. And he is on this show talking about gender is a spectrum. And, oh my God. I'm sorry. I know the camera's not on, but I'm just sitting here like holding the bridge of my nose for a second. The whole concept of gender. Well, let me back this up. Gender originally is a concept that applies to grammar and to inanimate objects primarily. But the whole concept of applying it to living things, in particular human beings, as something somehow separate from sex is given to us by a man named Dr. Money. And Dr. Money was a evil, and I mean fucking Saturday morning cartoon evil, mad scientist whose experiments drove 2 boys ultimately to suicide. These are facts. These are fucking facts. So this gender is a spectrum horse shit. It's not science. It's some sort of weird fucking pseudo religion the left has right now. I mean, even some of the fucking transsexual people would argue that this gender fluid and non-binary and I'm in the middle horse shit is just that. I mean, some transsexual people just I'm a woman's mind in a man's body or what have you. But they're not I'm this fucking fourth, fifth, or sixth fucking gender. Because it's just got to get fucking crazier all the time, doesn't it? By the way, apparently tonight, I guess at 9, or no, maybe he's on at 8 now. So, but Tucker Carlson's supposed to have fucking Bruce Jenner on there. So that I'm not gonna bother watching it on TV, but I'll look for it on YouTube tomorrow. And you shouldn't bother watching it on TV either, because you should be listening to this fine live stream. Plus, who the fuck watches TV anymore? As I said before, there's really very little I watch on actual television anymore. And I kind of miss that. I kind of miss just sitting down and watching TV. Maybe I'm just showing my age, but I miss it. But there's just nothing fucking worth watching on TV right now, I mean, like I said, I watch Flash, I watch Arrow, I watch Rick and Morty. Son of Zorn's pretty good, but I don't love it the way I love those other 3 shows. And other than that, not really much worth watching. I mean, shit, I remember when Comedy Central was awesome. That was my go-to channel. And I just saw something recently that racist, vile fucking Shiboon who does that show Decode It on MTV. And by the way, when I say racist, I don't mean the way the left means it, where it's like, you notice differences between the races and you're proud of your own heritage. I mean, this motherfucker, celebrating white genocide. That fucking disgusting piece of shit is apparently getting a show on Comedy Central. And by the way, speaking of which, apparently fucking Sinead there is on MTV. What the fuck happened to MTV? Remember, there used to be music on that, first of all, but that's long since. But there used to be shows worth watching on MTV. I mean, shit. There used to be awesome animated shows on there. I mean, obviously there was Beavis and Butthead back in the day, but even Celebrity Deathmatch was really funny for about a season. It ran on too far. I mean, it was a one-note joke, but it was funny at first. Shit, I remember this one show called Clone High. That was really funny, although it didn't make it. There was a Spider-Man animated series on MTV, actually. It was right after the first movie, but before the second one, and it was CGI animation. It was sort of based on the movie version of things. It was pretty damn good. It had one real flaw. It didn't have a lot of villains in it because it was produced very much by Sony, and they didn't want to step on the toes of any future sequels, so they were like gun shy about using Spider-Man villains, so they'd make up like shitty ass villains for the fucking show. I think the only Spider-Man villains they put in there were like, they had Silver Sable, who's like a D-list character. They had Kingpin, who was actually voiced by Michael Clark Duncan, reprising his role from the Daredevil movie. It was pretty cool. They had Kraven showed up at the last episode, voiced by Michael Dorn. It was pretty good. But he talked about having already met Spider-Man, and that never happened in the show. Some people are actually arguing that it's referencing the first movie video game, I guess. But anyways, by and large, it was a really good show. Neil Patrick Harris did the voice of Peter Parker. Lisa Loeb did the voice of MJ. Other big voice talent in there, like Rob Zombie did the voice of Kurt Connors / the Lizard. One of the few, against real Spider-Man villains they put in there. Some of the voice acting I didn't care for. Like they had this like black cat-like character called Talon, I think she was called, or something. It was again, they didn't want to use Spider-Man villains, so they used shitty versions of them, like shitty knockoffs. But it was voiced by that fucking obnoxious ass female rapper Eve, who was like all the fucking raves, or all the fucking like so goddamn popular for 10 minutes back then. All the fucking I'm blanking on what the fuck that phrase is. All the fucking rave? Is that what it is? All the fucking, oh, I don't know. Whatever. Perils of a live stream. Well, we got some, what the hell? Don't be fucking spamming my chat with ads for your fucking videos or whatever. All right, don't do that. What is this? Remove. Yeah, you go bye with that. But yeah, MTV used to have great shit on it. Although I will say about that Spider-Man cartoon, it only lasted a season, and somebody at MTV, I think, wanted to kill it. Maybe it was too expensive to make or something. They buried this shit at like 10:30 on a Friday night, and they never reran it throughout the week. And I don't know if you remember, but like at the time, cable channels in particular, a new episode would premiere at a certain time, and it would usually be aired 5 or 6 times before the next episode came next week. Like I remember South Park would come on at like 10 o'clock Wednesday night, and then midnight Wednesday night, and then like 10 o'clock Thursday night, and then like 11 o'clock Saturday night or some shit, like 4 or 5 times throughout the week. They never reran that Spider-Man cartoon. You caught it 10:30 Friday night, or you didn't fucking catch it. I only caught like 3 of them when it was originally on. The only reason I finally watched him was they released the season on DVD. Somebody says, Bechtloff, have you seen the new Comedy Central show Problematic? I have not, but that sounds like fucking stage 4 cancer. Let's see. Do you remember the show The Head on MTV? I don't believe I ever watched it. I knew of it. But I don't think I ever watched it. I think I actually knew of it because like I had a buddy that used to get a bunch of the MTV like trading cards back in the day. I mean, this is like 93, 94, something like that. And he just loved all the MTV cartoons, so he got the trading cards of it. I think that's where I remember seeing The Head. But like I don't think I ever actually saw the show. Let's see. Bechtloff, have you seen the dub for a second, by the way, I thought you said Transformers soap commercial, so I was almost excited. Like that sounds kind of cool. What the hell? But no, have you seen the Dove transgender soap commercial? Full pause now. I have not. No. But Dove should do a Transformers commercial. I would watch that. That'd make me want to buy some Dove soap. I mean, I don't know what Transformers have to do with soap, but still. Let's see. Anyone remember 3 South and undergrads? I don't know what that is. Let's see. With all this talk, how is the Western entertainment market not dead yet? It damn near is. I mean, hey, Bechtloff, did you shit on Bill Maher, the Weimar guy? So he says transgender is more than meets the eye, at least at first glance. Bechtloff in that case would be full coat wax commercial. Yeah, something like Turtle Wax should put like Transformers in their commercials, something like that. I don't know how the Western entertainment market's not dead. I mean, but it almost is. I mean, shit. I mean, if not for like Marvel and Star Wars, Hollywood wouldn't be making any money right now. And on those, I mean, on Star Wars, it's just coasting from the momentum of previous movies, of the height of the franchise. And with Marvel, it's just, taking stories better writers wrote decades ago and putting them on the big screen. You know, it's Hollywood's not coming up with anything. By the way, Bechtloff, Anthony Birch was behind the Persona 5 controversy where a lot of SJWs were mad. It wasn't censored or full of old memes. Yeah, I don't really know anything about that. I mean, I've heard like bits and pieces, but uh, the Persona games are never games I got into anyways. So, uh, let's see. Beckloff on Problematic, they rap about cultural appropriation. Are they the ones that did that rap video about like, hey, alt-right people, fuck you, or something like that? That like got about a 90% fucking downvote rating on YouTube. God, it was cringeworthy shit. Oh, by the way, speaking of cringeworthy, I'm sorry, folks. I gotta counter signal a little bit here. People are sending me this stuff like that publishing house that Fox Day is involved with. I'm blanking on the name, but supposedly they're doing superhero stuff. I don't know what they're doing here, but some people have told me that it's going to be like the alt-right superheroes. I pray to God that's not what they're doing. Okay, look, nobody likes Captain Planet. All right, nobody likes Bible Man. Nobody likes them because they're not actually fucking characters. They're messages with this thin fucking veil of a character over it to try and, you know, the spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. That's why nobody likes them. All right. You want to do superhero stuff with a right-wing message. I fully support that. What you do is you do good superhero stories that have right-wing messages in them. You don't start off with the message, okay? Don't do that. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. It just some people are showing me shit, and it sounds like that might be what they're doing, and that's cringeworthy. All right, don't do that. All right, and I'm sorry if I'm counter signaling, but you know we do have to have a little bit of quality control here on the fucking right. We do have to be able to say to each other, "Hey, that's probably not a good idea." So I'm saying if that's indeed what they're doing, and I don't know that that's what they're doing, that they intend to have fucking alt-right man or something like that, that you know, Captain fucking neo-reactionary or whatever the fuck they're up to. Don't do that, all right? Don't fucking do that, all right? Don't do that. Uh, but yeah, that's not like I said. Do good superhero stories, and honestly, if you're even a halfway good writer, and your worldview is going to seep into your writing, but it's not going to be you're not going to be hitting anybody over the head with it. And also, by the way, more often than not, the best way to put a message into something is, especially science fiction. Good science fiction does, and you know, superheroes would fall into that broad umbrella. But good science fiction, it doesn't spoon feed you a fucking answer. It just makes you ask questions. Like, hey, here's something to think about. And you can do that even in kind of pulp science fiction stuff that's not meant to be deep. It's just like, you know, this Captain America Civil War movie is a perfect example of that. There's political shit all through that movie, and yet it's never in the forefront, really. That movie is first and foremost a story about two men, very close friends, who come to blows over a disagreement. All the shit about terrorism and security versus freedom and all that, that's background shit. And again, it doesn't try and spoon feed you a fucking message about that. It's just like, hey, here's a fun movie about superheroes doing superhero stuff, and there's maybe something for you and your buddy to talk about after the movie. But that's how you do that shit, all right? Don't be fucking hitting people over the head with shit about it, all right? Let's see. What's going on in the chat here? Who would win in a fight, Bible Man or Bill Nye the Gender Guy? I'm going to say Bible Man is definitely going to hit him. Somebody says Captain Keck. Let's see. Captain Keck would kind of be like, V for Vendetta, except, it's like a liberal dystopia he's fighting against. Let's see. It says Tony Stark did nothing wrong. I must say, they made Stark seem way more reasonable in that movie than they did the original Civil War storyline from like 06. Like, Stark ended up a fucking shithead by the end of that. And I mean, you could still understand why, but like, damn, dude. So he says Mike Pence and Common Filth superhero team fighting faggots. Common Filth in Crusader gear versus Bloodlust at Chris Chan. Who wins? I don't know, but when it goes down, don't call anybody. Somebody says V for Vendetta was a liberal dystopia to totalitarian government. I can never pronounce that word correctly. I'm such an idiot. Pedophile ring, etc. Yeah, but they tried to make it seem like it was all about, like, I would almost argue it was a neocon dystopia than anything else. Let's see. Orlando Commando. Looks like Tidal Wave and Azalea Rosa are both flirting with each other in the chat there. What else did I want to talk about? There's a couple of interesting comics coming out this week, which, there usually isn't because fucking comics are rough these days. But there's a Batman Shadow crossover I want to check out. There's a new Scarlet Spider series, which is a spin-off character of Spider-Man they brought back, and I'm more just interested in that because of the creative team. First of all, Mark Bagley's doing the art. Mark Bagley is a fucking fantastic artist, and especially on Spider-Man. If I closed my eyes and someone said Spider-Man, the first thing that would pop into my head would be a Mark Bagley drawing. And Peter David's the writer, and damn, is Peter David a good superhero writer. It's really funny because, like, he's a perfect example of how you don't, like, nothing Peter David's ever did has been quote unquote like groundbreaking or, really all that original. He's proof that you don't need to reinvent the wheel all the damn time. Sometimes you just need to make a really good one. Peter David just does your basic, good old-fashioned superhero stuff. He just does it really, really well. I mean, hell, the only real original character, at least at Marvel or DC, I can think of that he created, like a character he made up, was Spider-Man 2099. And it's basically just like, hey, let's run Spider-Man through a Blade Runner filter. It's funny, like, Peter David created Spider-Man 2099, which, it's just a Spider-Man in the future. It's somebody in the year 2099 gets spider powers and decides to take up the mantle of Spider-Man. Not even related to Peter Parker in any way. In this cyberpunk dystopian future. And he pitched that book to Marvel. And Marvel was like, that's a great idea. Let's make a whole line. And Peter David's like, I don't have any other ideas. So they just farted out a bunch of other 2099 books that were often very, very bad. Sometimes had really good premise behind them, but usually very, very bad. Most of 2099 is absolute garbage. X-Men 2099 is shit. Most of Punisher 2099 is shit. The first story arc, first few issues are okay. Ghost Rider 2099 had an interesting premise, but was shit. Yeah, most of them were terrible. Ravage 2099 is pure, unadulterated dog shit. Let's see. Hey, Bechtloff, have you seen Bill Nye Saves the World? It looks like a great series. Is that what the fucking Bill Nye the Transgender Man is? Bill Nye the Transgender guy is? I didn't even know what that show was actually called. Is the Punisher film any good? Well, which one? There's been a bunch. I mean, there was one in the 80s starring Dolph Lundgren that is absolute dog shit. I highly recommend you never waste a moment of your life watching it. There's the 2004 one with Thomas Jane, which is pretty good. And there's Punisher Warzone from 2008, which I highly fucking recommend. Highly recommend it. Look, if you don't like Punisher Warzone, then you just simply don't like the Punisher. There's no other way to put it. For the life of me, I can't understand why anyone shits on that movie. That movie is so fucking good from beginning to end. That is easily one of my favorite Marvel movies ever. And in fact, before they introduced Punisher in the Daredevil show recently, I used to always say, I choose to believe Punisher Warzone takes place in the Avengers movie universe. Am I roboting? God damn it. Hang on, let me check. Hang on. I'll fix it. Google Hangouts sucks. I gotta find another fucking format. Okay, does that sound better? Let's see. Says I'm live. Okay. Am I live? All right. All right, we should be fine. Okay. Yeah, but the Hangouts has been fucking up really bad lately. I'm. Yeah, it is. It's that darn online lag. It is that online lag. Bechtloff's superpower, the Transformer Bulbasaur. But yeah, this is truly. I am dealing with all this online lag. You know, you should send me more donations because all this online lag I'm dealing with. Fucking. I gotta check my Wi-Fi too, make sure that's all right. Let's see. Online lag. We may all have to move over to VidMe. Yeah, I gotta look into this shit. To other fucking things. When did Bechtloff become a Digimon? That online lag. Why is it when I shoot somebody in the knees and they shoot me in the face, they win the firefight? Online lag. So he said, Bechtloff, what's your favorite Rick and Morty episode? Oh, man, I don't even know. That's so hard to say because Rick and Morty is really on point. I would have to say my favorite, though, is probably the episode with Unity. But again, I mean, that's picking my favorite of, you know, a show that's practically batting 1,000. It's DSP's gout that caused the problem. You know, we need to have a big old telethon for gout awareness. Someone says you can't stream on VidMe, can you? I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. Let's see. Bechtloff, do you think Jerry will come back? I don't know, but I'm certain we haven't seen the last of Jerry. I'm sure he'll be a character in one way or another. Somebody says, why on earth wouldn't Vidme make that a feature? I don't know. People do a lot of crazy things. DSP's gout and Movie Bob's diabetes joined forces to stop the stream. I mean, the YouTube streaming is fucking shit right now. I know I'm not the only one that's had problems with it either. So, there's too much. I mean, as DSP said, you want me to run YouTube for you? Bechtloff, be my Digimon. I don't know. Digimon's kind of gay, so I don't know about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Pokemon's hardly fucking Shakespeare, but Digimon's kind of retarded, in my opinion. Gout is no joke. I'm healthy and I ate a huge amount of asparagus once. It gave me gout. Fucking asparagus, that alien-looking vegetable. I don't eat asparagus because I think it tastes like shit. And I mean, I'm not like, big fat movie Bob where it's like, oh, I don't like vegetables. No, which I'm sure he doesn't. No, I like vegetables. I like salad. I like a lot of fucking vegetables, but not asparagus. It tastes like I might as well go out and eat grass clippings. All right, that's what it tastes like to me. Digimon, digital monsters. Digimon are the champions. Let's see. Bechtloff can be War Greymon. I don't know any of the Digimons. Okay. I haven't seen Beyblade, and I've seen part of Beyblade, believe it or not. That is the dumbest anime commercial show ever. Yeah, I remember stumbling across it because, at first I thought is that the one where they're on tops, like they're spinning around on tops? Because I actually thought if you're my age, you may remember the Crossfire game and the commercials it had where the kids are on tops and shit flying in this fucking dystopian future. So years ago when that show was on, I remember flipping through the channels and I saw a minute of it and I thought is this a Crossfire anime? Any food that causes a lot of purines can cause gout. Be aware. Well, also, apparently, eating nothing but fast food and playing video games and yelling at your girlfriend all day can also cause gout. So you got to watch that, too. But Beyblade is the spinning top show. Okay, yeah. So when I first saw Beyblade, I thought, is this Crossfire the anime? So I guess I was showing my age there. Bechtloff, favorite Aqua Teen Hunger Force and thoughts on Carl. The Aqua Teens, they all kind of blur together, to be honest. But anything with the Moonanites is going to be killer. And I love Carl. I love Carl because he's so not giving a fuck generally to the bizarre shit that's happening around him. And it's so summed up in the first episode where he's talking to one of them comes up to him and he's like, well, hello there, Mr. Food Monster. He just actually, I think my favorite Aqua Teen episode, it's the one I quote the most, is the one where Meatwad worked for the car wash that was run by alien brains, and they don't even wash your car. They just hit it with hammers and throw dumpster juice all over it. Which again, you can't even summarize an Aqua Teen episode without sounding like a fucking madman. Movie Bob also causes gout. People be aware. Yes, I'm sure he is. To be fair, Beyblade is basically Japanese Crossfire. Probably. Although it was nowhere near as cool as those old Crossfire commercials. Those things were fucking epic. It was like a 30-second dystopian future movie right there. One day in the future, children will ride around on giant fucking spinning tops and throw steel marbles at each other. Is gout contagious? Well, Leanne or Panda Lee doesn't have gout, so I'm going to guess it's at least not spread sexually. Let's see. I want to play Super NES Mario Kart with my nephew. What is a good way to go about it? Do I buy a used Super Nintendo? Well, if you have like a Wii U, I would say it's probably on the virtual console. So that's probably the easiest way to go about it if you have a Wii U. If not that, I mean, cough, cough, you didn't hear it from me. I guess you could emulate it if the kid wouldn't mind playing on a computer. Or you could just get a Super Nintendo and I mean, but I have no idea what the prices on it would be. I mean, I paid $10 for my fucking Mario Kart, but that was like 10 years ago. So, let's see. So he says, "Congrats on their wedding." Yeah, I guess Panda Lee and Mr. Gout are getting married. I was actually thinking with Mario Kart, Nintendo ought to release just a fucking like collection of it on the Switch. They ought to do a few collections. That would be easy ways to get things onto the Switch. I love the Kirby collection I got on the Wii. So let's see. Movie Bob married a panda? No. No. DSP is marrying a young lady that goes by Panda Lee. No, Movie Bob's not nearly cool enough to get a panda. He'd be lucky to get a raccoon. Which, of course, on the internet we call Trash Panda. Let's see. Wait, DSP is marrying his girlfriend. Yeah, you hadn't heard? They're engaged. I have a feeling they're going to be. So it's no wonder pandas don't want to have sex. But no, they're engaged. Yeah, they're going to be. I have a feeling they're going to be staying engaged for a while because of the money problems. So he says, "Is DSP's wife's hot?" Well, I mean, it's his fiance, and she's okay. Like, I mean, she's far better than DSP deserves, at least physically. Let's see. By the way, guys, it turns out Ego Rapture's wife didn't change her last name. Ooh, man, Ego, Aaron. Oh man, you have some fucking balls here. Look, the only way I would argue it is acceptable to let your wife not change your last name. If your wife is some sort of author or singer or actress or some sort of entertainer like that, or maybe just she's some sort of like business owner or something along those lines where her name is her brand, you know what I'm saying? Then I could kind of see it being okay. Even if like maybe you legally change your name, but you still go by the other last name or something like that. Again, if it's something where her name is her brand, I think it's acceptable in that case, that very, very, very rare case. Otherwise, no, absolutely fucking not. Because here's the thing, ladies, all right? You act like you're not doing some sort of girl powery thing when you don't take your husband's last name, because stone cold truth is you don't fucking have a last name. All right? You have your father's last name. So all you're doing is elevating your father's manhood above your husband's. Let's see. People like how Jada Pinkett became Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah, she kept her last name because, I mean, not that anyone ever gave a fuck about Jada Pinkett, but because supposedly she was an actress and this was her brand, okay, fine, fair enough. You know, if you are some sort of big name actress or singer or what have you, and your name is your brand, then all right, you know. One day when I finally wear her down and I marry Taylor Swift, she's allowed to keep calling herself Taylor Swift in public. That's fine. What happened to Ego Raptor? It's a real shame too, because I mean he was a pretty brilliant dude. I mean he was a really cool guy, good animator. Zach the Bong Ripper says my wife did not want my last name. Riley Raid didn't want your last name. But no, Ego Raptor was a cool dude. I mean, some of his analysis of video games are just straight up on point. I've heard game design schools actually show some of his videos, and rightfully so. He was one of the earliest guys I ever saw to point out how, in depth to go through how brilliant of an opening level Mega Man X has. Taylor Swift, the Bong Ripper. Ego Raptor will probably go tranny. Honestly, that wouldn't even surprise me. Let's see. Somebody says, has she revoked that restraining order yet? Who, Taylor Swift? No, she's still playing hard to get, but don't worry. Don't worry. Maybe I'll dig out the MGTOW link account and tweet at her from there. Eco Raptor will go tranny. That still fucking makes me laugh. Taking husband's last name is just a Western thing. In South Korea, women don't take the husband's last name, but the kids do. Well, that's wonderful, but this is in fucking South Korea. Here, you fucking take the last name. Yeah, in South Korea, do they even get married, or do they just fucking play video games all goddamn day? Somebody says, is Taylor Swift still a virgin? Maybe that's why all those relationships don't work out. She ain't putting out. Let's see. Ego Raptor's wife has FAS, right? What the hell is FAS? I don't know what that is. Somebody says so much cucking for an I Lumo looking woman. Let's see. Is Wendy from Wendy's still a virgin? I don't know. I couldn't tell you there. I mean, fetal alcohol syndrome. So FAS is fetal alcohol syndrome. I did not know anything about. In North Korea, the wives take the dear leader's last name. But no, I did not hear anything about Ego Raptor's wife having fetal alcohol syndrome. That's news to me. Bechtloff needs to start up the Swift Hour where he starts talking about everything Taylor Swift. I don't know. I mean, then I'd have to be like DSP and be masturbating on cam. I don't know if anybody wants to see that. No, I'm in no diamond. Let's see. In some Latino countries, you keep both of your mother and father's last name. Well, most Latino countries are third world pits of ass. So I don't know if we need to be taking advice from them. Ego's wife is a good PSA on why you don't drink while pregnant. Okay, I've never even seen Ego Raptor's wife. Yeah, you know what? All right, maybe I should Google that or something because apparently I'm missing out on something. Let me see if I bring up the Bing, as it were. Raptor's wife, Susie Burhole. I mean, she doesn't look that bad on these pictures I'm seeing. But I mean, I'm only kind of seeing like, neck up. I mean, she's kind of like a hot topic thought, but other than that, I don't, you know, I'm not seeing. Maybe I'd have to see her in motion or something, but robot voice Bechtloff. Okay, thank you. All right. Not working up the time for fear. All right, let me see if I can fix it. I am getting really sick of Google Hangouts. All right, let's see. All right. Hopefully that worked. Somebody says, have you tried Discord? It's an alternative to Hangouts and Skypes. I have not. All right. Beckborg. Yes, resistance is futile. Why does Pastor Tom screen in the middle of the day? Some of us have day jobs. Well, I mean, he's a pastor, so I guess he doesn't have to work in the middle of the afternoon. If anything, I mean, if it's like, consoling people and, doing all that shepherd activity of a pastor, he might have to do more work in the evenings when people are home. That's when they're calling him up and wanting to bitch about their problems or whatever. See, that's the part. Like, I could do the most visible part of being a pastor. You get up there Sunday morning, you give a sermon, but like throughout the week, like people coming to me about their problems and shit, I'd be just like, leave me alone. Like, and that's the thing. The sermon, that is the visible tip of the iceberg of the pastor's job. So, hats off to him, because I couldn't do it. I don't like people enough for that. Let's see. She also blames her hatred on sexism when people don't like the shit she pulled in the past, like taking down a fan's video or Susie Etsy scam. I guess this is Ego Rapture's wife. I guess that I don't know that much about him. The most I know about Ego Raptor's wife is they once did a Game Grumps video where she played like Lion King on the Sega Genesis or something. And Ego, like the video is called like "My Wife is Amazing at Lion King," and she's okay. Let's see. What do you think of roaming millennial? I'm not really familiar with that. I was warned by transsexual mod of the Silent Hill Discord for using the word cancer towards my friend. Well, okay, that's it. Somebody says why are trainings on the Silent Hill Discord? Why are they the mods too? For fuck's sake! Remember a few years ago, right when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, and it's getting like amazing scores because it was this big game and everybody loved it, and there was like that one tranny on GameSpot or something who was like, I don't like it. It made my fake pussy hurt. Like, yeah, I don't take them seriously, and they should not be in mod positions ever. They're fucking batshit crazy. If I wanted to cut my fucking wrist, they'd put me in a nut house till that feeling went away. If I wanted to cut my dick off, apparently they'd throw me a parade. Let's see. GTA 5 was awesome. Trevor Phillips was boss. I actually found at like a GameCon years ago a Grand Theft Auto 5 on Sega Genesis. And it was one of those ROM hack fan made games. And I thought, like, I bet you this is like a top down, like the original Grand Theft Auto game, how it's like top down. I bet you it's like that with like scaled down graphics, trying its best to emulate Grand Theft Auto 5. Because there's a lot of those kind of fan made games, the what do they call them? Kind of a demake, as it were, where you make a game for a less powerful system, like remake it for a less powerful system. So I took it home, and it was literally, because you got Russian bootlegs for Genesis are still like this huge thing. It was literally just this shitty game called Outlander with just a Grand Theft Auto 5 like opening screen and a label on the cartridge. So I literally thought at the time, because it was right around the time that Tranny was shitting on Grand Theft Auto 5, of doing a video where I was like, I don't know, this I keep hearing all these great things about Grand Theft Auto 5. Let me check it out. And pop it in, and it's this Genesis game and its ass. And I'm like, man, that Tranny on GameSpot was right. This is terrible. But I have terrible lighting down here. I couldn't, like, I could not get it to look like way fucking dark. Like, to not look way fucking dark. So what did they do with Bruce Jenner's dick? I think they gave it to the one dog as a true toy. Let's see. Oh, looks like Pastor Tom's in the chat. I stream during the middle of the day because it works for Luke's schedule. As pastor, I have some control over my hours. I take the hours off which normal people work and do the stream and work longer. Let's see. Pastor in the house. That's my favorite anime after Corey in the house. I think my second favorite anime is Cody in the Abusive House. They recently shut that anime down. Let's see. A bunch of people chatting with each other. So let's see. Beck, had you ever seen Moral Oral? Yeah, I never really cared for it. I mean, it was like, I get the joke. Okay, you're making fun of those old Davy and Goliath cartoons, but Cody should be Bechtloff's co-host. That's a perfect. That is a perfect idea. I would love it. Yeah, Cody. Oh, I can't wait for the episode of Daddy 05 where Cody snaps and kills his father with a butter knife. I will upvote that video. Let's see. Most days I'm working during that time. Tuesday. Oh, Pastor Tom responding to somebody else. I'm sorry. Bechtloff, you should have Pastor Tom on to discuss 6-day creationism. Yeah, because the last time worked out really well, didn't it? Last time I discussed that. I don't know. I mean, last time I lost a sidekick. I'm down to just one now, so gotta watch it. Let's see. So he says Holy War. I'm not sure what that's referred to. What we got here? And I like going on in chat right now. People just talking to each other. I can't tell you how that makes me feel. I'm not sure what it's referring to. Let's see. Can't be any worse than that discussion between Forney and the beardly come beard dude. Yeah, I still get like people coming to that. They're like, Forney sucks. I think somebody threw it on a Reddit chain or something. Like, I don't know. Every once in a while, I'm like tempted to take that fucking video down because it was just such a shit show. So he says, can't tell you how that makes me feel, Bechtloff. Can't. I'm not sure what that's referring to, Pastor Tom. Let's see. Bechtloff, sorry, have you ever seen the movie Frailty? I don't believe I have, no. What is the latest on the French elections? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm hearing that Le Pen doesn't have a shot, but it's kind of, it's kind of the same people that said Trump didn't have a shot. So I don't know. I mean, my prayers are with France right now. I hope they, ironically, they have to elect a woman to regain their balls. But let's see. A lot of people hate Forney. Like, why? There's people who can't see anything but their race hate Forney because he used to bang gook chicks. Also, Forney kind of actually wants, I mean, he's not anti-white, but he wants to hold white people accountable. He wants to say, hey, we need to be a better people. All right, we need to stop embracing the pause. The merchant sells, but we goyim are buying, so we need to stop that. And they don't want to hear any of that. We were the Romans and shit. Beardson is great. Okay, yeah, no, he's not. Bechtloff, so you had a butt pirate on your show? That is hilarious. Well, I don't believe he's officially a butt pirate. In fact, according to him, he's married to a soundboard. He actually was like, I'm not gay, see my wife, and he played like this fucking soundboard clip of a woman saying, hi, honey. But hey, love is love. You want a fucking soundboard? Who am I to judge? Let's see. What we got here? Pastor Tom referring back to not having me talk about creationism. It was a sarcastic comment. I mean, I wouldn't mind sitting down with Pastor Tom, honestly, and chatting with it about it. But Bechtloff, thoughts on the most holy of Holocaust remembrance days? Because how can the genocide be real if our eyes aren't real? What is this? Some sort of Holocaust holiday or something? Do we all get off work and we have fucking burgers and hot dogs and grill? I mean, because you can't fire up the oven that day. That'd be disrespectful. Hey, remember the 6 Gojurin? So he says, oddly enough, it was Forney that led me back to Jesus. God works in mysterious ways. Yeah. Let's see. It's Armenian Genocide Day. I don't think that's not the Holocaust we're talking about. No, we don't like to talk about that one. I would not mind Holocaustianity if we got holidays. Yeah, we should. I'm honestly surprised fucking 9/11 isn't a holiday by now. I would have sworn by the 10th anniversary, we'd all be we get a 3-day weekend and fucking grill hot dogs or some shit. Oh, let's see. So I've been meaning to ask, how much of a shit show was the Science March, and why did they do it in April? It was apparently a massive shit show. And as for why, I mean, who can say why madmen do what they do? Let's see. Wait, Bechtloff, you mean we're not allowed to talk about the Islamic genocide against others? Well, no, Muslims is good boys. They didn't do nothing. 9/11 is more relevant than the Holocaust. Yeah, fair point. Grill hot dogs with kerosene on 9/11 because kerosene melts steel beams. Well, you know, every 9/11, I like to commemorate the day by having a nice, respectful, somber game of Jenga. Let's see. Bechtloff, thoughts on World War One and its effects on the modern day? Well, I've said this numerous times here. America getting involved in World War One is the greatest foreign policy blunder in the history of our nation. Really, the second, not until George W. Bush toppling Saddam would we even come close to that big of a foreign policy blunder. And our getting involved in World War One took what would have been a war that was about to end in stalemate, and we threw the balance all off kilter, and through our actions, the 20th century was a blood-soaked century. You know, you likely wouldn't have had a communist Russia, a Soviet Union, if we had gotten involved in World War One. You certainly wouldn't have had Nazi Germany. So it wouldn't have been a World War II. And then if there would have been no Soviet Union, there wouldn't have been all the various little pissing at pointless-ass wars, skirmishes, whatever, that came about through the Cold War, the Korean War, the Vietnam War. You could argue we'd be far more advanced. But then again, the only area you could maybe argue we wouldn't is the space race. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. Shit, that reminded me. I wanted to read a nice little, what the hell? Oh, somebody sent me something. I want to read a nice little tweet from our good friend, Bob Movie Blob Chipman. He actually tweeted this. The dumb motherfucker. He tweeted on April 22nd, 2017, 4:00 p.m. If nationalism prevails as the driving force of the 20th century, you can kiss everything from space travel to disease cures goodbye. First of all, Obama dismantled NASA. Trump is attempting to rebuild it. So, I mean, just an immediate observation. That's silly. You know, the nationalist guy is attempting to rebuild it. Second of all, the space race, Bob, the space race, okay? This huge, massive shot into the arm to space travel was caused by the two most powerful nations in the world having a fucking pissing contest with one another. Having a damn dick measuring contest is the reason why. A mere few decades after man had first achieved flight, a man stood on the moon. Not even a century, Bob. Not even a century between those two things. And that was the result of nationalism. You dumb, fucking, friendless, obese, diabetic, will die alone, unmourned and unloved, virginal piece of subhuman shit. All right, so checking the chat again there. Let's see. Bechtloff. No, not Movie Bob. Yes, it was time for some Movie Bob. No, not Movie Bob. It's Movie Bob time. No. Let's see. Russia was in bad shape, so communism was unavoidable. I don't know. I don't really know that the communist revolution would have been able to take hold without the maybe, but it's doubtful. Bechtloff, opinion. The left wants to stop any chance interstellar human exploration because it becomes exponentially more difficult to create centralized government and enslave humanity. That can be part of it. I mean, I guess if, we all live on different planets, globalism isn't quite the big thing it was. Bechtloff is wrong. If it wasn't for blacks, we would have never made it to the moon. Well, we was astronauts and all. Um, but no, that doesn't that what the hell was that movie called? The We Was Astronauts movie? And I hate calling that because it's actually based on a true story. There's so much bullshit Black history that when they actually try and tell a real story, no one even wants to hear it anymore. We all just mock it. But doesn't that kind of show you that, us white folk, we as long as you're competent and you act civilized, we're generally going to treat you fairly. That's sort of how we roll. Bechtloff, did the wrong side win World War One? See, I don't necessarily know that there was a good side in World War One, which is why a stalemate would have been the best possible outcome, which we prevented by tipping it to one side or another. I'm not sure things would have gone any better if we'd have sided with the opposite side. And they might have just gone wrong in a completely different fucking way. A stalemate would have been the best possible solution to that. So he says, "Ding do nuts." Hidden Figures was the name of the movie. Yes. Interstellar travel won't happen due to what theorists call Niggatech or hard Malthusian limits. Let's see. Didn't do nuts. How well did Hidden Figures do? I don't know. I mean, no movies are really doing that well anyway. So even a number one at the box office almost doesn't mean shit right now. In a dead week, you can be number one at the box office with fucking $8. Let's see. Did I ever watch porn of her? I don't know what that's referring to. Stefan Molyneux and Bill Whittle had a very interesting talk on how the Soviets affected the world very recently. Oh, I might check that out. I like Stefan's videos. Number one in the box office now is like gold in the Special Olympics. Pretty much. I mean, until at least you get to the blockbuster, to the summer. I mean, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is going to make buttloads of money, and the new Thor movie is going to make buttloads of money, and the new Star Wars movie is going to make buttloads of money, even though it probably shouldn't. And the new Justice League movie is going to make buttloads of money, even though it's probably going to suck balls. Wonder Woman's probably going to make buttloads of money. Wonder Woman, I'm cautiously optimistic about. I'm not prepared to say that's going to suck balls. And I'm willing to go as high as 50-50 shot. It'll be good on that one, which, given how fucking bad these DC cinematic, these universe movies are, I think that's saying something. Opinion on Thor Ragnarok, Bechtloff. I think it looks really damn good. I'm excited for it. Let's see. Zach Bong Ripper says, I copyright Dindu Nuts. Should make a movie called Dindu Nuts. So I can act like it's a movie about, the fact that if we hadn't have shot those poor didn't do nothing boys like Trayvon and that gentle giant, what the hell was his name? If we hadn't shot them, they would have gotten jobs in NASA, and they would probably be halfway to colonizing like fucking Pluto by now. All right, that's how they're gonna make Pluto a planet again. We was planets. Let's see. Wonder Woman is going to make vagina loads of money. Possibly. Bechtloff, have you heard about the YouTube channel Queer Kid Stuff? Are you sure that's not like a X Hamster channel or something? Somebody says FB was dope. FB, what the hell's that? We were space niggas on sheep. Gay niggas from outer space. He says, "Oh my God, that channel is gross. It's awful. Don't go there." Oh, well, now I kind of have to check it out. Damn it. Dude, Beck, that channel is disgusting. Don't do it. Should do a fucking react video to it. Let's see. Well, I'm probably gonna go ahead and wrap this up then. Let's see. Somebody says Bechtloff is a legit fag in the next Star Wars movie, confirmed. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I just don't give a fuck about Star Wars anymore, and I'm really confused as to how anyone still does. Let's see. Someone says queer kid stuff gave me AIDS. Is it really that bad? Now I have to check it out. I mean, it's so bad that it stands out amongst this sea of pause. Give you super AIDS. As Butter's dad said on South Park, just 1 teaspoon of super AIDS in your butt and you'll be dead in a month. Let's see. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I'm just kind of looking at chat now. So I'll go ahead and wrap this up before the fucking stream decides to crash again on me. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Do check out the sponsor, Reconnaissance Man by Aaron Clary. And if you enjoy the live stream, you'll see the tip jar down below. Tips are greatly appreciated. All right, folks. That's all I got for tonight. Bechtloff out.